Hello fellow YouTubers, welcome back to YouTube Gaming Community number 113. So yesterday I was sitting down in front of the TV watching the Chicago Bears play the Atlanta Falcons, and my team, the Bears, won. And I get a phone call from my wife saying, hey, a couple other families, mom's group she has, they want to get together and have a barbecue, you want to go there? And I said sure. And a couple of these people there were people, the mom's group had made a Yahoo private league for fathers to play in, and I'm one of them. And unfortunately I lost today because Tom Brady went crazy, but on my other channel tomorrow I'll make a video on what my team was and his and why I lost, and then later on the week I think I'll make a video on what the other guy I'm playing's team is and what changes I made to mine over the NFL football season. But enough about that. But anyway, I was wearing my Halo Reach shirt there. Didn't think anything of it at the time. And a couple of guys started asking me about video games, like, you know, the PS3, the 360, Kinect. They're interested in the Kinect a lot, actually. And when we were talking about games, the main reason they had said they don't play like the 360 or PS3 or have gotten one is because when they see the gameplay trailers or video game footage, they feel so intimidated by them. They feel like today's games, there's so much to do and they're so complicated that they can't play it. And I know here in a little bit, as it gets a little colder, they're talking about the same, well, us and the three other families talking about that maybe during the winter the wives will be at one house and the husbands will be at another. They will watch football, and I know they're in 360, so maybe I'll bring my system over and show them. The games aren't as complicated as they think. I know if you weren't someone playing the games all the time, they can look very intimidating. So, but anyway, enough about that. Let's get to our topic for today. It was inspired by a video, ELPRESADOR's Role Models and Steroids video. In this video, he talks about how people send a message all the time, how they look at him as a role model. And his point was that your parents should be your role model, not him. But while watching the video, in my mind, this topic came up as, should YouTubers be role models, or are YouTubers role models? Now listen, I think people who make videos can be role models in the way they make their videos, the production value or the way they do the video. I think people could be role models in the way they always enter their comments or messages, or the way they treat other YouTubers when they meet them in public. I don't necessarily find YouTubers role models in general, because you only see, let's say, like for someone in the game community makes a video every day, and they're all 15 minutes long. So you only see a 15-minute window of them a day. Then I believe if you were to see a fellow YouTuber's life 24/7, you'd find a lot wrong why you would consider them a role model. I'm not saying there are people out there that could be, but you should have people in your local, where you live at, who you look up to see the way they live their life or the way you aspire to be like them. Or maybe your parents or someone you know. You only get to see a very little of us in a video, and why we may say things or do things that you like. I don't necessarily think we should necessarily be role models outside of just the videos we make, talking about, because we're just people who make videos on stuff we like. We're average people. We have average problems as everybody else in life does, and we have average flaws. And I think sometimes YouTubers and videos are just like sports players and actresses and actors, is that we get put on a pedestal that we really truly don't deserve, because we make videos or we're in some kind of media form that's in people's eye, public eye. It was funny because ironically enough, I was listening to Weekend Confirmed over PAX, that podcast, and it's Shaq News' podcast. And the funny thing in that podcast, there was a time when they brought up the point about reviews, that maybe people don't want numbers and reviews, and the crowd overwhelmingly cheered, and he goes, you really don't want numbers and reviews? And he goes, yeah. People want the person's opinion and experience of a game. People don't want scores anymore. And that's why YouTube is so appealing to gamers, is because there are people on YouTube who are average people playing the games they like and giving you their honest opinion, not influenced in any way, shape, or form by who they work for. And in YouTube, you can put in any game and you'll find a positive or negative review, no matter if it's Sonic, no matter if it's Mario, no matter whatever game it is. And I think that's one of the things that makes people who make videos on YouTube unique. But as for the role model aspect, you know, it's funny, I get messages all the time from people saying, check out my channel, tell me what you think. And I know the answer I have, and I said this last time, is always the same. It's truthfully, it's be passionate, be creative, you know, have fun, be yourself. And most people actually don't like that answer, to be honest with you, because they're expecting you to give them some mystical answer to break through, and there's just not one out there. I mean, you could do all the production you want, you could do all the branding you want. It's simply, if people happen to find out, the people who are going to like your channel happen to find or see it. There are a lot of people in our community that have really great channels that are great. The difference is that nobody sees it because they get buried because there's so many of them out there. And and to be honest, there's a lot of channels, they all look the same, right? So, anyway, enough about that. So simply, do you think fellow YouTubers are role models, or should YouTubers be role models? And like always, I'll read the comments next video. So let's get to some of the comments for YouTube Gaming Community number 112, e-begging. I knew making that video and that topic would be controversial. I knew it would get a response. I could not believe how many responses, or how long some of the responses I got. I got messages to answer that I have to dissect because they're so long. They're incredibly long because the people are so passionate about the subject. Some people, even in the video, left 6, 7 comments to get their opinion out, which is great. I can't read the comments because they're too long, but and I think one of the kind of surprising things was I thought people would be 50-50. I think most of the people in the comments actually overwhelmingly kind of supported the person's e-begging, the latest e-begging video they had seen. But let's get to some of the comments. And the first one is from Bookhouseboy77. Personally, I think before asking for money, I would sell things I own and get the money that way and not be greedy. Like I am now, I collect movies and I am selling movies to help pay off my iPad too. I would never go on YouTube and ask for donations, even if my iPad would benefit my viewers. And I understand a lot of people made this point about you could sell off a small part of your collection and then, you know, to pay for it. And I've done that in life. I've sold off some of my Transformers I have, or some of my comic books I have. I still have like 600 of them. And video games to pay for something, because I can always buy that back. I can always reacquire that. What's more important, that stuff or stuff you think you really need? And I do also think a lot of YouTubers who make videos don't take into account what happens if my computer dies, or what happens if the camera I use dies. How am I going to make videos? A lot of people don't think of that possibly happening until it happens. I mean, I'm using a 10-year-old camera. I've looked at other cameras of the stores I have, and if this thing would ever die, I already know how much I'm going to have to pay to get a different camera that I may want to use. And the next one is by Flynn's. He said, as I've said in other threads, to me, it's not begging. It was donating to help the show out. I think there's a distinction there. To me, although on a smaller scale, asking for money to help shows out is no more beggary than PBS asking for donations for their network. Begging is not about asking for money for nothing. That is not what he did. He was asking for donations so he could continue his very high produced content that tons of people enjoy for free all the time. And I do agree. I mean, I guess, you know, a lot of people made this point that I guess technically in that case it was more of a donation than actually e-begging. E-begging, in the comment I'm going to read in a minute here, is about people who ask over and over and over again for money. Now, and the truth is, if you like the show, or you like, I mean, if you donate to PBS or you donate to any kind of public broadcasting network, you're giving them money as a donation. That's pretty much what this comes down to. Anyway, next is Retro Sofer, and he said, great video. I think there is a big difference between asking for help and e-begging. If someone is just asking for help, there's nothing wrong in that. But if someone is constantly begging and you don't like it, then unsubscribe and don't watch their videos. Simple. And that's truthful. Just unsubscribe to their videos or their channels and don't give them money, and that's simple enough of an answer. And the last one is by Operation Retro, and his point was, I also think the All Gen Gamers podcast was botched this week so they could touch base about the subject. And the reason I'm reading this comment, this is something I see all the time when something happens to me with people. They try to connect the dots where there is none. Okay? Let's go it this way. Okay, Jason Heine, part of the All Gen Gamers podcast, recently moved. So he is moving and unpacking. They all just came back from PAX. They all have jobs or school or whatever, and maybe simply they couldn't get together to make the podcast. To simply say they were all going to go, why would they all go out there for the situation you're talking about? That is simply one person's problem. And actually, that would work some way in their favor, because when something big like this happens, more people check out everything that person does, whether you believe it or not. When somebody temporarily does something controversial, on the scale you're talking about, the people end up checking out all the stuff they're on to see what they say and do, or if they're going to talk about that situation. So in their case, it would not. And if we're going to get into the fact, I know this is going to happen, well, they're making money off that podcast, and honestly, they're truthfully, people, I'm going to say this, they're not making a dime off that podcast. They're actually truthfully, they're actually paying in on that podcast. Now, e-begging is one of those funny things that when it comes up again, the people that people name now are going to be named again. And right now the subject isn't over, because people are still making videos on people and subjects that are out there, and some of these videos are totally non-factual, just trying to take a shot at somebody they don't like. But okay, let's get to videos to check out. And the first one is by CornShaq Gaming. It is play through Ys 4 Dawn of the Ys. This is the entire playthrough. It's a 4.5-hour video, so if you want to see part of this video or all of it, the whole playthrough, check it out. Start from the beginning of the game all the way to the very end. Next up is IndieStatik T.E.C. 3001 first look commentary. The best way to describe this game he shows in this video is Tron with, it looks like style of Tron, but with no violence, no shooting people. It's you running, collecting batteries, jumping with challenges of jumping from lane to lane with things and obstacles coming your way. You can slide arm stuff. It's really cool. You should check that out. Next is Bray 8916 PlayStation SCPH-1001 Audiophile. Sound comparison, is it really better? And the point of this was, a lot of people claim that the first PlayStations released in the United States had better audio than the later ones released, and so he does an audio comparison to show whether they are or they are not. You should check that out. Next is Immortal 119 I Am Back from the Dead. He's back on YouTube, and he explains he was sick and stuff, so you're interested, check it out and congratulate him for coming back. Next up is Ariel DYNAISCH GamesCom 2011 recap. If you have not been to Gamescom or want to see a recap on it, check his video out. Next up is Cobradvs RattleCast starring Cobradvs and Neoflynn episode 1, the pilot. This is the first episode of their podcast, and if you're interested, check it out. Actually rather entertaining, actually. And there's another one, I know a new one out there that I'm going to get to in the next video, and you can thank my wife for making that noise. So RobSnake made Rare Manhunt PC box set. If you've never seen the box set of Manhunt for the PC, there's the video for you. And then a VideoGameExpress JGC YouTube Gaming Community Talk, where he basically talks about his feelings for the community. And this is a positive video, not a negative one. So you should check out his very positive video on the community. And then Domewf Sudden Impact Complete, basically showing his game store in this video. If you're interested, check it out. Like hand-drawn video game posters and stuff like that. Next up is Bloodfisteternal, Call of Duty Black Ops, playing some gun game. And the point of this 3-minute video was how I was playing the game and how people just simply, you know, quit playing because they get mad, or it was pretty decent gameplay to that point. And then last but not least, xcornmuffinx, Very Japanese Games, Episode 2, Yakuza the New Chapter. This is the second episode of his new series. Yakuza the New Chapter is the PSP game, or Black Panther as some people call it, and it is a game that's probably never coming out over here, probably never coming out actually outside of Japan. But if you're interested in hearing him talk about it and see what the case looks like and everything, check out the video. Really cool. So guys, that is all for now, and I will talk to you guys on Wednesday.